Hello, gamers. Welcome back, and here's hoping that you've enjoyed your most recent Saturday as it stands. I'm a tradesman, and so what this means is that if you have a building that needs built, you have a wall that needs erecting, you have somebody that needs to shovel out something in the front yard, whatever, doesn't matter. Me and my guys head on out. We get a little bit of work done, and we leave, and hopefully everybody's happy. But realistically, oftentimes it involves a team. A lot of the things that get done by tradesmen are really best done in a pretty substantial group, right? I mean, on any individual or particular job site, sometimes you can have 20 plus guys of the same company, if it's an especially busy day. But more frequently, you'll have a smaller team that you're sort of more immediately responsible for. In my particular workplace, you can regularly expect to work in groups of roughly four, around four. And these are guys wherein you're typically going to the same place to do the same task. And if you're not all in the immediate vicinity of each other at all times throughout, whatever it is that you're working on, it could be from an hour to a week, whatever, depends on what you're doing. You're going to meet up regularly. Communication is a very important part of this sort of organized togetherness of whatever you guys are working. Wow, that did not work. Whatever you guys are working together for. And just recently, because I drive a relatively small truck for the work that I do, I usually bring a maximum of 3 guys with me. And so I've been doing that recently. And this newest guy that I've been working with, who will of course remain in total anonymity. Anonymity? He will remain totally anonymous because I didn't ask him at all if I can make a video about him. Has been more so in the forefront of my mind than a lot of my coworkers lately. Because apparently we work together. We work well together, and a lot of the jobs that I've had for the past 3 weeks, I've sort of taken him with me, and he's been basically hired help, close to that. He's a seasonal worker, so he won't be here to develop long-term skills or anything like that, but he's sort of in a transitory period in his life, and so he needs a little bit of a job to get him from point A to point B. And he is under 20. Now, I myself am 24. And whenever you're driving out to job sites to do whatever it is that you're doing, it can be totally normal, totally expected, nothing crazy for you to have to drive 2.5 hours there and back to a particular job site for my work environment, at least. And so naturally, you're in the car with 1 or 2 guys over the course of 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. You get to know each other pretty quickly, because it's either that or, awkwardly sit on your phones and listen to each other sneeze or whatever for 2 hours, which is, if it's not dramatically preferable, it's at least mildly preferable to engage in conversation. I guess that depends on who you bring with you, right? But anyway, I have been shocked with how much happens between the ages of 18 and 24. For me, the ages of 18 to 24 are kind of this keep your head down, close your eyes and just keep pushing forward years. A lot of growth, whether you want it to or not, happens in those kind of early to mid 20 years. And listening to a guy who has just been driving for a few years now has been profound. From my journey to 18 to 24, I've had things work out for me that I never would have expected would work out for me. I've had things that I never would have guessed would fail on me, etc., etc. A lot of growing gets done in that amount of time. And I was doing some thinking, some mental math, some reflecting on my commute home today. And the gap from 18 to 24 is the same as the gap from 12 to 18. Now, obviously, 12-year-olds and 18-year-olds are very different, but I might posit that 18-year-olds and 24-year-olds are even more different. I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know how you feel about that. I'm curious to gather other experiences about that, but it has been totally fascinating to dive back into the mindset of someone who has yet to have, all of these experiences, and especially working with him. In my trade environment, things are kind of freeze, not quite the right word. Disorganized is just a little bit irreverent. Loose. We'll go with loose. Loose is a pretty good word with what you got going on. If something needs doing, you just grab the two nearest guys, tell them to go do it, and whether they know how to do it or not, just go get it done. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And so there was at least one occasion today where we were both sent out to do something we had no idea how to do, and so it took us triple the time expected because we had to learn how to do the thing and then do it right there on the spot. And so sort of going through trials basically with someone that's so much younger has been this insane experience for me, because I feel as though maturity levels are constantly at like a state of flux basically. From older generations, I know a great, enormous, tremendous number of adults who, just to be honest, have about the emotional, perhaps even mental maturity of 14-year-old, modern day 13-year-old, something like that. And this is not totally what I expected given the place of, social media in the modern day, right? We talk about that all the time, whatever, most debated topic of all time by now. But whatever the results are, they're not what I expected them to be. And so there's this strange phenomenon going on with sort of these younger guys that are really either just now entering the workforce or maybe even younger than that. I'm not sure. I would have to do, get more life experience to be able to realistically answer that question. And the degree of focus, the degree of perseverance that this guy that I was working with today, that he had is unquestionably greater than the perseverance and maybe grit is the right word that I'm looking for that I had at 18 years old. And I'm not sure what exactly is sponsoring that. I'm not sure if it's a generational thing, but what's going on here is that regardless of this age thing that we have going on here, regardless of whatever difference is going on here, it brings to mind a favorite anti-racism or sexism quote of mine. I have no idea if this is an original quote. I mean, to my knowledge, I'm the first time that I've said it, but I mean, everything's been said once by now, you know what I mean? Is that for every difference that you can kind of scrape and scrounge to find, there are 10 more similarities, you know what I mean? For every reason that we are different for being men and women, whatever, you can find 10 more similarities because we're both people, you know what I mean? For every difference that you can find between, in this case, a coming up on 20-year-old and someone who's past being 20 years old, there's just so many more similarities that we can celebrate. But the most profound thing that I kind of came to realize today from listening to this guy, who is in many ways like me and in many ways different from me, is that it's easy to find the similarities if you're really and truly looking, but the differences are still to be celebrated. What would we do without diversity? You know what I mean? Wow, what a miserable, dysfunctional place we would live in with no diversity. And so the next time you find yourself thinking about good, bad, whatever things with the people you surround yourself with, coworkers, family, friends, or whatever, you can take a little bit of time to really appreciate the similarities that are there, but oftentimes the differences are quicker to present themselves to you, and the time spent there, right? So you have to spend time kind of looking for similarities. The time that you should spend related to dissimilarities is realizing the good. You know what I mean? I feel like a cop-out bringing up my work life on my YouTube content. It feels like these two worlds should remain wholly and totally separate, but I'm trying to let my work life do good things for me, you know what I mean? Kind of embrace it, let it happen, be open and receptive so that, if you can find something to be celebrated somewhere, why not celebrate it? You know what I mean? Kind of look for the little things. But to be honest, this is my second time posting a chatting video, basically. My girlfriend talks a lot about how some of her most watched content on YouTube is basically stuff that you can go to sleep to. And this just so happens to be something that I'm attempting to be sort of like a calming down piece of media. And it also happens to be gratuitously low effort, so, whatever, we can get two birds with one stone. And so let me know how you guys feel about this type of stuff. I want to keep doing weekly uploads, kind of. I mean, I'm having to adapt to that. It's gonna be just a little bit of a minute before the next video. After what was basically why I love Cyclops, next is gonna be why I love Penny. I asked some close friends of mine, and why I love Penny has been the voted, next why I love video. So that's planned, but I'm talking about work here, even in my anti-work space. Because it's been a big part of my life recently. I've been called in for a lot of unexpected last-minute overtime, and so because of that, the time that I can spend producing content has gone from maybe an hour today to something, maybe an hour a day, to something more like 20 minutes a day. So that's gonna affect the upload schedule. That's a concession that I need to make, because I've learned that if I really try to crank and force that upload schedule, I will get it out. I can make the deadline, but it's gonna suck. Nobody's gonna want to watch it, so that's to be avoided, right? I mean, that's basically effort that's wasted, because I'm so frustrated throughout the entire process. I'm not sure if the practice, the experience that I get from producing another video is even worth it at that point. But anyway, let me know how you feel about lower energy content. Let me know how you feel about the life experiences that one develops between the pre-20 years into their early to middle 20s. And let me know how your Saturday went. Here's hoping you enjoy. Thank you for your time. Peace, and I'll see you later.